3.221. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Task and Purpose Return Fire. This is Patrick Tompkins Baker, Patrick the T-Man Teapot, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Megan Mobs Mentality. Fun play on words. Hi, Megan. How are you?
Good. How are you, Pat?
And we have sitting in with us today, Brad Yum Howard, also known as the Armchair Airman. Brad Yum, thank you for coming in today and joining us.
Well, I'm just super glad to be here.
Oh, wonderful.
That was enthusiastic.
That was really good. I know people can't see Brad Yum right now, but he's sitting like a gentleman. He's sitting like a true airman would sit, which is proper. Now, today, we want to jump into a juicy topic that's taking the veteran internet by storm. And Megan, why don't you talk about it? You already ruffled some feathers on this topic.
I did. We were talking about how to define a bro vet. So I will say, before we jump into this topic, that's English, I do think there's like a frequency illusion happening. I think that maybe we're talking about it more than it actually is occurring. So like I want to acknowledge that I think maybe we're seeing it more than it actually is a thing. But it was a thing 2 weeks ago when a very large page that's veteran oriented asked for a definition. And so I thought, being the helpful gal that I am, that I would offer a definition.
Give the old definition.
In 800 words. So a very lengthy definition of what a bro vet is or was, or what I thought it was, to much backlash, in fact. Because what I was trying to say, and apparently didn't communicate effectively at all, is that what I thought a bro vet was someone that privileged or utilized their service as a way of saying they were more entitled or entitled to more things than the average American.
Ooh.
And that typically was communicated in instances where people were wearing shirts that were very veteran-centric. I won't use a company. I used a company in the piece that got me a lot of heat. But that I typically see those people at the airports acting like the worst people. Like the grandma's trying to get her bag off like the carousel, and like, they have their earbuds in and they're like watching her struggle, and their shirt says like, I am a sheepdog. And you're like, you're also a lazy fucker. Oh, sorry. You're also lazy and you're not being very helpful, but you want to be appreciated for your service. So anyway, that got a lot of, that's what I thought of bro vet.
You know what? I'm going to take that football. I'm going to spiral it over to Brad here. Brad, in your mind, when you think bro vet and you close your eyes, who do you see?
Patrick Baker.
In my mind's eye, I see the bros who are vets, who got out of the military, who I was like in college with, who are on the GI Bill, and I love to go out and drink with them and yell about politics, which was way more fun than arguing with them online about politics. That's what I think of when I think of a bro vet. I think of the guy with like the American flag t-shirt, or whatever, and maybe they really like MMA, and then they have really strong views about public policy, despite having very little background in public policy. But lots of fun to drink with. Lots and lots of fun.
Yes, I think I agree with a lot of that.
A lot of fun to drink with.
The other portions.
The other side. Not fun to drink with for you.
No, they're fine to drink with, but that idea.
Yeah, I got to say, my bro vet, in my mind, when I close my eyes and go to sleep for an angelic rest, I do see the T-shirts, the veteran-y T-shirts, right? I see operator cap maybe, but I think for me, it's more of what's inside that makes you a real bro vet. It makes me think of that really big kind of fat ginger kid who punched that other kid in the face and said, I'm a combat veteran, I'm psycho bro, and punched him. And then then his wife was immediately like, we're going to the VA, because she didn't want him to get arrested, so he ran to the VA, right? And then turns out he never saw combat, like his record came out, right? And he wasn't fully liked, but that's very bro vetty to me, where he's like, he's going to pull that vet card all the time.
But I think that's why people got so outraged about this article, was because they thought I was talking about apparel and I was talking about attitude, which is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's the inside.
See, and someone actually asked me if I was a bro vet. They called me out because they said basically the last few years of my life have been centered around the veteran space.
Yeah, I think Pat's a bro vet pretty easily. I mean, I think that you're a meta bro vet and that you've transcended the bro vet line to where you make fun of it while still being a part of it. It's pretty impressive. I mean, I am there too a tiny bit, but you are much more in that.
I'm kind of like a day walker.
Yeah, that's
I'm
accurate.
Like Blade. Brad, I got to say, since he's come to Task and Purpose, he's become a little bit more bro-vetty. He's learned the online culture better of the veteran space. He's learned how to have impulsive outrage. And
I have lots of impulsive outrage.
yeah, that one he already brought to the table on his own. But he's also learned the online impulsive outrage.
But that's essential.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But
I think
apparently you can't send cat pictures. Apparently I can be full of rage, but
Yeah.
if I send cat pictures to angry people about
Brad,
politics, that's
yeah.
a no-no.
No, you send Pusheen cat memes.
Oh, like
to-
the fat cat, the gray
Yeah.
fat cat?
Yeah.
Well, someone would like
That's
message and be
hilarious.
like, well, I just think that you guys are wrong about this because I read it on the Ben Shapiro page. And I would just send the cat upside down Pushing cat because I don't really have a response to that.
Yeah, he would. Or like the one with the heart over its head. That was Brad's jam. That's a classic airman response.
Not allowed
like
to do
it.
that anymore.
Yeah, we took
Oh.
Pusheen out of the official company responses. Now,
Mhm.
Brad, as Brad Yum, can always respond with a Pusheen. We don't censor our own as themselves. Does that make
Just
sense?
as task and purpose.
So I want to start out by, let's start to break down the Brovet. Let's come up
Yeah.
with the definitive definition of the Brovet for the entire veteran community. And by the time this podcast is over, that's it. It's done. It's settled. No more debate.
And we're the winners and everyone else is losers.
Yes.
Perfect.
No, because, yeah, we are the defining council right now. So, Brad, give me one trait of a Brovet.
Loud.
Loud. Loud. Just loud.
Loud.
Okay. Loud. So the Brovet is loud.
All caps or high volume.
Excellent. Excellent, Brad. That was very enthusiastic. I'm going to go with veteran. I'm going to go with as a veteran. Always starts Facebook rants with as a veteran. That's what I'm going to toss in there. They give their veteran take, like the Colin Kaepernick situation. They make it about them. They make it about their people, even though they never met them, right? It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the as a veteran, the entitled as a veteran stance. Megan, why don't you toss one in?
That was mine. Mine was entitled.
Yeah.
Oh, so now I have to think.
Of course it was.
Okay, so we have loud or brag. So like something that's like, I'm gonna say speaking without the facts or considering other opinions.
Ooh.
How can I make that more succinct? Don't know. But they take these opinions in a very loud manner with their experience and they apply it to unrelated scenarios. Like as a veteran, I can tell you how quantum physics works.
Yeah, you went deep there.
And that doesn't make sense.
You went psychology deep. Now, speaking of psychology deep, I know I'm stepping away from our list for a minute here. Brad, can a woman be a Brovet?
I mean, by definition, wouldn't a bro be a male adjective?
So
Like,
is
I mean,
there
would that,
maybe
like,
a broette vet?
I feel like that'd be more like a woe vet, but I feel like that also
Ooh.
goes too close to woke vet, and
Okay,
I
so
think
let's
that's
say
a weird term. So I don't know, like what would that be then? How about I don't know, sorora vet? I mean, I feel like it's not a
I like wovet.
I like Wovet too.
Yeah, we're going with
woe
wovet.
vet.
Yeah.
But I also don't think it's as common.
I'll get that tattooed behind my ear.
Please do.
Yep.
I'll pay for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brad, tell me about the wovet, if it's possible. Can the wovet exist?
I think in a similar way that like, you know, there's always that broad discussion of how men and women interact in arguments and conferences, and that men tend to shout their opinion until, you know, everyone hears it, whereas women are historically less likely to jump in for, you know, fear of being talked over. That's almost similar in the vet space that, you know, female vets don't want to jump in and yell at they're totally right because they know they'll just be drowned out by men shouting at them. You know, so I really don't think that you see that
Ooh.
nearly as much.
Brad, yum, getting woke.
I agree.
Let's pass the ball back to Megan now, who happens to be a lady
I am.
and a veteran.
And
What's your
You're
opinion
welcome.
on Brad? On Brad's take there?
no, I absolutely agree. And I can't tell you how many times I've been told either like my opinion doesn't matter because for a variety of reasons. My favorite is because I wasn't soft. So I wasn't special forces, so I can't say anything. Then it becomes, well, it's because you're a woman. And then it becomes because my service isn't as equal as somebody else's service. And like there are very few women that have a loud voice in the veteran community. There are very few. And if they do have a loud voice, they're kind of cheerleaders or they're influencers. They're not the ones that are kind of standing up and leading the kind of the change or the narrative. I
Yeah.
completely agree, which is why I don't think you see a lot of them. Also, women don't identify as veterans. They identify at a less rate than men do.
It's much easier to hide it. Like if
True.
you go to you noticed it especially on college campuses where if you roll onto one and go look, okay, that guy was a veteran. He's got the haircut, he walks like it, maybe the beard, the sunglasses, something gives it away. You're like, that guy was in the military. Women,
Nice.
way harder, almost impossible to tell unless they let you know ahead of time. You know, you can't just go, oh, she was a veteran. You know, it's very, very unlikely that there's going to be a woman walking around in a grunt style t-shirt or, you know, whatever, like talking about how she like knife hands people. It just doesn't happen that much.
And if she is, she's probably just the dependent. That was a joke. Women conserved. That was a joke. Oh, everyone got really quiet really quick. Whoa. No, I mean, I think it's true. When I enter a room, people immediately can tell I was a United States Marine, mostly by my vascularity on my arms.
Plus, you tell them.
My muscles.
Your good looks.
I have like this ability that people just know that they're safe or in incredible danger if they're a bad guy when I'm around. It's not something that you can train for. It's just something that Marines have. Yeah. So I agree with Brad wholeheartedly. As a Marine veteran, it's hard to hide my skills.
Is it that? Or is it that they don't want to let go of what they had before? That they want people to see all those things you just said, so they keep a piece of it with them so people will know.
It's true. It's a badge of masculinity, like Sebastian Younger, which I may mispronounce his name because I can't pronounce words.
I think you did a great job.
His book Tribe, like, I mean, he talks about it too, that the military in a way for a lot of men is that sort of that rite of passage that doesn't really exist in society anymore. So of course you would hold that up to be like, look at me, I have done the deed, I have climbed the mountain, I have done the other thing, you know, whereas women don't really need to have the same thing to impress other women.
But do you think, and we're getting way off the Brovet topic here, but do you think that's the reason why? So I have so many thoughts and things to say about Sebastian Younger, but do you think that's why, though, this kind of search for that, right? This like purpose, meaning, belonging, quest, this life quest when you join the military, it's what you're expecting, and then you don't get it. And we have something like the Hemingway effect, where you're like, you're hoping for this massive event where either like your masculinity has been proven or you were able to be the hero, like you were able to achieve some level that you otherwise wouldn't be able to achieve. And then you don't. And
like the Hollywood level. The media when you're growing up and you hear about these war stories or like Medal of Honor recipients of World War II who like, you know, took out 3 machine gun nests and now they're forever emboldened in manhood and badassery.
Instead, you get like the Jarhead effect where you deploy to some horrible area of the world, see horrible things, but you don't really do anything that say
all he ever wanted was to take that shot. You want to get that kill.
Isn't there something in the Marines? Isn't there a phrase that captures that?
In the Marines?
Yeah.
Captures which part?
The not being able to, like, not getting that kill or that achieving that.
I don't know.
It's called blue balls.
Yeah, you got blue balls and it didn't work out. No combat. No combat.
But at the same time, then compared to, you know, the rest of the civilian population or whatever, even if you just were in the military and all you did was cut grass and, you know, wax floors, sweep, and get yelled at, you know, once you're out, someone who never did those things has no idea that that's what it's like. They just have this, you know, Hollywood, you know, version of what it is. So then when you go, oh, I'm a veteran, and someone goes, oh, suddenly it just triggers in your brain like, okay, wait a minute, I can say this and people will have a very odd reaction and assume that I am hypermasculine Patrick Baker, you know, walking into a room with a plan to kill everybody. I mean, that's maybe another reason.
That's not me. You know, that's just my tough cookie perception I put out there.
Soft teddy bear.
Because on the inside, I'm very weak. I'm very fragile. And that's just
Most men are.
Yeah. We're little cookies of goo on the inside, but on the outside, we're hardened because life made us that way.
I cried during the Mr. Rogers movie. It was very sad.
Oh, wait, Mr. Rogers? Which one is that?
Mr. Rogers.
There's the Marine Corps veteran who had the television show.
I was thinking the Christopher Robin, the new one about Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear? Oh, no, not Pooh Bear. No.
You would probably cry to that one too, though, because it's a touching story. It's a touching story.
I'm a blubbery guy. Filled with emotions.
A blubbery man filled with emotions. So do you think that maybe the Brovet is actually just someone who is a little bit insecure about their life? And so they're latching onto something that you can always put as an accomplishment.
Yeah.
That no one can really touch.
I think so. And I think that they use that service. And it's funny, right? Because you just said this a while ago, like we're all in the veteran space. So like, you know, who are we to say that, you know, that's what a Brovet is? But I think that utilizing your service as a platform to do XYZ is very different than like privileging your service in a way that is like that like that's the best thing that you'll ever do. That's the best thing that you'll ever have.
Yeah.
Versus using it as a way or a means to get to a different chapter of your life. it's like holding on past like the end screen.
Brad, what about you? When you got out of the Air Force and went back to shul, did you almost become a bro vet?
I wouldn't say I was a bro vet. I definitely, at the time, because I was still thinking about going back in, which happened repeatedly until I somehow ended up in New York, would definitely like bro vet it up more than I probably should. I've absolutely gotten a little bit hammered and bro vetted on a Facebook page. Probably not recently, but at least in the last year. I mean, it happens. You revert sometimes. You want to just trash someone else's terrible opinion, and sometimes you don't realize that maybe you're trying to use clout that you don't really have. I don't know, but yeah, I'll bro vet it up. I used to wear sweet 511 t-shirts and pants, and act like I was so cool.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
That is the pant of choice for a bro vet.
I'm just kidding. I still wear 511 pants, and their jeans are fantastic.
Yeah, where can they learn more about those jeans, Brad?
At 511tactical.com
or
taskingpurpose.com.
There you go, because he did a review of them. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Brad Howard. He tried on those jeans, and he loved them. He even ran with a pupper, and he gives you a really nice, honest review. And 511 loved it. They did, and they love Brad Yum, so they're going to send us some more swag for you.
They made my cans look good.
No.
Still
you
wrong
still
definition.
Have cans wrong. Like, cans are for boobies, not for butts. Brad thinks cans are for butts, not boobies. Men have cans. They do, Brad. You don't need to look at them, all right?
Pat has cans.
Doesn't make you a hero to look at cans of men, all right? Pervert. So, Brad went a little brovetti. I think I went a little brovetti when I first got out.
But I think but it goes back to it's not tied to apparel. Like, wear the comfy pants, wear the shirt from whoever company. Like, that's, who cares? That's not the problem.
I think that's what we're realizing. The brovet is inside us.
All of us.
I think all of us have a little brovet.
Of course we do.
That wants to get out. Like on one shoulder is good decision making, civilian transition, and the other one is the brovet. And like a devil and angel, they feed you lines.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's I think that, as we define the brovet, if you want to like really spread it out, I mean, there's the brovet who, wears the shirt and yells things loudly and is maybe overly vocal about their service. But then there's also I think what we're really trying to nail down is the toxic brovet, like the one who,
ooh, that's
right,
good.
It's that's what it is. It's Brad the brovet who
coming in woke, tasting good,
who gets on his cell phone in his truck and just rants about the NFL for some reason.
Graham
Allen. You can say his name
here. I don't know who that is. I don't, because again,
or you don't know his name.
Kind of like how we talked about this. I never really dabbled my toes into the vet space until recently, so I don't know the names of the people.
Then you're not really a bro vet. Get out of our studio.
Yeah, take your wokeness.
I didn't know who Matt
else,
Best
nerd.
was till I worked here.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I had
you
no
didn't know
idea.
who Matt Best was?
I did not know.
Oh, I knew who Matt Best was before I was at Ranger Up and was indoctrinated into the
I
vet
knew
space.
what Ranger Up was.
Yeah.
And I thought some of the shirts were funny back in the day, and then that's about the extent of
your t-shirt apparel life in the veteran space.
Yeah, I'd heard of Black Rifle Coffee, but I just thought it was a neat novelty to think about, just because I like the idea of gun-themed coffee, but I never tried it.
Brad, I think right now, by the way, this is a small segue. I think this is a great time for you to plug the domains that we now own.
Oh, yes. After some intensive brainstorming.
This is all, guys, I got to give this all to Brad Yum here. This was his idea, and it was a brilliant idea. Brad Yum, hit him with it.
We own www.blackrifleteacompany.com.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. And I think we also own...
We own another one.
Black tea bag.
Oh, yeah. Tactical tea bags.
Tactical tea bags.
I want that in my life.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounded...
You want tactical tea bag? And you're like...
I do not want that.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, there's a small British company that actually... A small British, UK based company of former Royal Army dudes who have a tactical tea bags company, which is unironic. They're not doing it ironically. They just really, really fucking love tea in England. So
They do. And that's hilarious. Do they know what teabagging is?
I'm sure they do. If you've ever worked with any of the British...
I don't know. Well, I don't know. They may, but the site is classical. It looks like something that would come out of
Queen
Peaky
Victoria.
Blinders.
Yeah,
it's
it's so weird. Also, if anybody's ever worked with the British people overseas, they like to naked wrestle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They like to get drunk. They like to make you feel uncomfortable with their comfortability with their bodies. And you know what? They are the most woke of all the service members.
I think, and it's a segue back to brovets.
Yeah.
I've had more than a couple British soldiers reach out to me and say that they don't have they called it the apparel problem that we have, and that they typically export a lot of the American culture, whether it's music, movies, whatever. But something that hasn't translated is the veteran-centric apparel. It hasn't. There's a couple companies, but it's not big the way it is here in our
You know what's
space.
interesting about that? So when I was at Ranger Up, actually, we had a huge UK following because they just don't have the same culture we do in the US. And actually, a lot of them want it. They want to feel appreciated and like show their service off. But nationalism like that from serving isn't the same as it is here.
Well, it's interesting to think about because, you know, our military in certain ways, especially like the Royal Marines and the U.S. Marines, you know, we're modeled off of them because for obvious reasons, we were a colony of, you know, the British.
But kick their asses.
The UK is considered the number one example of a democratically run military, as in like the civilians control the military. They're held up in political science as like, this is the best example of a military that is not trying to meddle in politics. And part of that also goes into the fact that it's not push that you are like the 1%. Like, you know, there isn't that same warrior caste system in the UK that you see a lot more in the US where like, you know, the predominant amount of ROTC programs are in the South. If your dad's in the military, you're like way more likely to go into the military. Like there's a definite bubble that's emerged in the US that I think has allowed things like apparel to sport that you are from this culture. Whereas in the UK, that isn't the case. And even like, you know, I think my favorite UK example of like how they think of the army is in the original version of The Office. The version of Dwight there was in the Territorial Army, which is like the National Guard, and he just got ripped for it constantly. They're like, oh, that's not the real army. Like,
you know, I think that's kind of how it was though before 9/11.
I think so to some capacity. Yeah.
I thought about the military when I was like prior to 9/11, and then I remember telling my mom, I was like, military's dumb. I'm like, I'll just be way behind everybody. It won't make any sense. And 9/11 happened, and I was like, I'm gonna go in the Marines. And I'm going to get vengeance on my enemies of this nation, you know, because I was a chamber choir kid, played tennis. He wanted to prove himself, you know, so he chased his dreams.
A true northerner.
Chased his dreams I also took sailing lessons at the age of 12, and I had my own horse named White Hope.
No, you didn't.
I did. I played polo a little bit of polo, a little bit, hitting the balls.
You make so much sense now.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? I'm going to join that corps. I'm going to get vengeance for my country, and I'm going to take care of these other issues I have. Am I tough or not? Who knows? Turns out I was incredibly tough. Became a U.S. Marine, obviously. And then when I deployed, I didn't even get in combat because the enemy was too scared of us.
Or you, just you.
It was mostly me. Yeah, I'm very good at peacocking.
You single-handedly actually won both campaigns. I don't know if you know.
Plus they were afraid of gingers.
They actually, okay, weird. Another segue off of Bro Vets. There was, anytime we saw redhead Iraqi kids, I would always pretend to be their brother. And they hated it. They hated it. Because they're the remnants of war. They are, yeah. They're from when the British were there.
The Russians or the British?
British. Russians or Afghanistan.
You're talking about Afghanistan or
Iraq?
Iraq. I'm sorry, Iraq.
Yeah.
Did I say Afghanistan?
Who
knows? I've been to both. I'm sorry. I confuse them. I've been to both. Oh, gosh. Brad Yum, have you been to both?
No, just Afghanistan.
Oh, of course. Yeah, not many of us have been to both. It's a lot of fun. Megan, have you been to both?
I'm fine with just coming from Afghanistan. Well, not coming. I didn't.
We got two Bagram hiking club members here.
I don't like hot weather, and it was hot enough in Afghanistan during the summer. So the thought of being in Iraq with the temperatures they had, not for me. I would melt. Yeah, I am a cold weather person.
Takes the U.S. Marine to do them both, but that's a different topic. Let's jump back on
both. It is a different topic.
I want to talk a little bit more about the WOVET. We haven't really gotten into the WOVET. Like, can the WOVET exist? And I'm sure she does, because women are just as amazing as men. I want to be the first one to say that.
Or just as awful.
I don't know. I would never call a woman awful because I'm too woke. I'm just wondering, like, what is the WOVET? See? It's causing a conundrum.
I don't know, because I'm trying to think of any that I would say
is a WOVET.
Yeah, and I can't really think of any offhand.
You know what? I can't really either, because...
Are you talking about like as in like a celebrity WOVET? Like a WOVET that you would hold up as like... That's
or what would you see a WOVET being?
Well, I mean, I think we talked about it as far as like influencers. I mean, the few like female veteran influencers that have come up on my radar tend to be in the like... beauty, like
the gun bunny business,
not gun bunny. No, like completely to where like the military is like a footnote in their like YouTube bio. Like there's an Air Force has two that are big.
Yeah, huge.
And
they have huge followings. Yeah, they do makeup.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not shocked they come from the Air Force.
yeah, they're really gorgeous. They are stunning.
I can't remember their names.
That's why Brad's so handsome.
One of them was in the New York Times as like an example, and the thing was it was Sailor J. I think that was her name. And she is either still in the Air Force or maybe got out. I can't recall, but it was barely mentioned that she was in the military. Just that she was a social influencer and that people followed her and that, you know, she focused on social issues and like apparel and like fashion, like all this other like cool stuff that's like lit, as the cool kids say, but not really on like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, kick down a door and kill everybody inside and then sell them my coffee.
She just kept it 100, fam.
Yeah.
Gang. I appreciate that.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Because I have to say, I've never met a woman veteran who like pushed it around the way I've met guys who will.
Yeah.
Even online. I don't see it in the comment section.
I'm trying to think that I think there's some more of that behavior is still in the active duty community, but it's like we just discussed. I'm not sure you can be a bro vet and be active duty. Like we kind of need them to be wearing all of those super hua whatever shirts. We need that. We need the kind of true belief in that they are the best of the best or whatever it is. So I feel like I see more of that, like using service as a way to get ahead actually in the active duty space than I do in the veteran space with women.
Ooh. Okay, but then you're not a WO vet.
No, you're not a WO vet.
You're a WO member. Because you're a
a
member of the services of the United States military. You're in the military. That's a WO member of a woman. Yeah, I defined it. It makes sense. I think it fits.
You're welcome.
Brad, you have a thought. Your lips are itching.
Yeah. So
fucking scratching, boy.
Not so much on WO vets, but on the idea of like the pre-bro vet, right? So this is the guy who's like in RTC or like DEP who's like about to go in the military.
Oh.
Who then
Fanboy.
wears all the attire. Yeah. And, looks so tactical at like the airport and like, the hub in Georgia or whatever. So this came up recently where a guy who's like a staff officer in the Army or something, I don't know, he's on Twitter, and he took a photo of one of these bro vets in the wild. And then proceeded to go up to him and like be like, hey, bro, you should tone it down. Like, what's with all the swag? Like, why do you have to look so like you're into the military? And I kind of was like, let him. Like, let the pre-bro vet be like so into it until the military crushes their soul.
Yes.
That's the cycle of life. You're really into it. Then you realize it's terrible. And then once you're done with it, you're like, yeah, I did it. And it was amazing.
Yeah. And it will crush your soul. Now, Megan, you do psychology type stuff.
I do.
That's her jam, for those of you who don't know. She's able to get in the head, break it apart, put it back together, and solve all your problems. So when I look at like the military service, I lost my full train of thought. I had a whole thing, and I described your skill sets.
Thank you. That was glowing, by the way. I appreciate that.
No, you mind fucked me because you didn't want me to ask my question because you probably thought it was dumb, which it wasn't. It's fucking brilliant. Fuck it. I'm going to move on. I don't even know anymore. Hey, guys, I just want to thank, this is a great time because I had to clean up my thoughts there. We clean up our thoughts with Swiffer Sweeper. So we want to thank them for sponsoring this podcast. Swiffer Sweeper, as they say, sweep it under the rug. Don't keep it out in the open.
We do that great in the veteran community.
You can find that at swiffersweeper.com. And we also want to thank MapQuest for sponsoring this podcast. MapQuest is always there for you if you're wondering how to get from A to B. Check them out, print out the directions, and have them at the ready. MapQuest. Brad, have you ever used MapQuest?
I like just having an amazing internal sense of direction. I just wander. I wander from place to place and hope I find out where I am.
Oh, perfect time to drop a basic white girl. Not all who wander are lost. Oh. There you go. There's your basic white girl quote.
That was really good. That was beautiful. Oh,
well,
except for it's Tolkien, and he's amazing, and everybody should read and not watch the movies.
Well, that's the add-on to that one is that not all who wander are lost, and it's like except the second lieutenant. The second lieutenant's lost as fuck. The second lieutenant has hypothermia. Okay. You
look like so serious.
Yeah, you got really serious. People can't see your face. I hope that 4K got you just enough so people can see how psycho you just got, murderer. All right. I think we did a great job of not defining the bro vet. It may be wondering who is the bro vet, right?
It's all of us.
Yeah, it's all. We all have that little bro vet inside of us. Brad, do you have any closing thoughts?
No. I don't know. I was thinking, I was in deep thought. I was trying to like figure out what closing thoughts on the Brovet. I think that the Brovet is a tiny engine in the U.S. economy that is often overlooked, and that, C-SPAN needs to do a whole thing on how much money the Brovet community brings. to the manufacturing
Yeah, that was really
of
deep.
Central and South
That was
America
really
where the
deep.
t-shirts are made.
Ooh.
Oh, goodness.
That just went on a completely different tangent.
Brad fucking Yum coming
gonna
in
invite
with a
you
nice
again.
ice glazing. You're like a donut, gluten free, whole
Fucking
wheat.
love donuts.
Yeah, but it tastes better than the. You get it. You get it.
Nope, didn't get it.
Yeah. So, thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. I'm glad we defined the Brovet perfectly for everybody. Megan, do you have any final thoughts?
I think all of it, be a decent human being. Like, doesn't like wear whatever you want. Use your veteran status, your military status, fine. Just like don't hurt other people with it. Don't be toxic. Be a decent human being. Help the old lady at the baggage carousel. Ooh,
Next
your bag
time,
off.
let's draw some absolutes, but that's fine. I'll let it slide this time. Brovets, go fuck yourselves. You're pieces of garbage. I'm kidding. I am one myself, I think. I'm dealing with that on my own. Brad, what are we going to play out to today?
Ooh.
Give me a tune.
I think that a solid playout tune should be by a band called Future Islands. Let's go with Future Islands.
Going little Future Islands right now.
No.
It's playing. This is all being done in post. None of us can hear it, but you guys
happened.
hear it. Again, everybody, I want to thank Brad Yum for coming on to the show. I want to thank Swiffer Sweeper and MapQuest for their donations to this podcast, and we want to thank Colin Kaepernick and Nike for sponsoring this as well. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Get home
I'm
safe.
kneeling right now.
Text when you're there.